Hey, it's Bitty Penny. Happy New Year, and it's time for the sheet load. I'm so excited, you guys. This is the January 2023 sheet load of cards. This is a mini slimline edition, and you guys, you definitely want to go see our sheet load team. The hashtag is in the title of this video, and there's also an Instagram team. So this is a scrap-free edition of the sheet load. The only scraps you have left are from your card base, making your card base because it's a mini slimline and not an A2. But I have a workaround. I actually made two sizes of the sketch in this video, and I'm going to show you all kinds of different, like making your own ephemera details. So stick around with me. Here are the supplies I'm going to be using, which is some Michael's 65-pound weight paper and some lovely Maggie Holmes paper. Now I used almost this entire sheet. There was only 3 pictures left over. And I used all of this paper but the stars. So I really used up some paper. These are all 12 by 12. And I love the results. Most of these are from the round trip collection. Okay, this is important if you're going to follow what I'm doing. I cut the paper first on the 11-inch side at 6.5. Then I turn that piece and cut it to 6 1/4. Rotate it back and score it at 3 1/4 on the 6.5-inch side. Okay, so I'm still doing Call Me Crafty Owl's example of getting the mini slimline. Now this is the piece we just cut off. I'm going to trim it down to 2.5, which is just a hair, you could see, and then 5 1/4. So this is your matting layer for your mini slimline. This is what's left over. I chose to use this for a 5 by 7. I love making 5 by 7 cards, and this was just perfect. So I trim off just another little hair of a piece to cut this down to 4.5, and then I cut it to 6.5. And now, if you follow that order and you follow this exactly, you can have enough to make from one card base sheet, enough to make a 5 by 7 card and a mini slimline. Okay, so let's get into the ephemera part. Now, I just cut all of these out with my scissors. This is not the kind of paper that you can run through your trimmer, really, only because everything is mishmashed on that paper. It's collaged on there. So I just cut these out real quick. It didn't take that long. And then I'm going to play around first with my 5 by 7s. So I have these 2 pieces of paper, and I cut this pattern paper to 4 by 6. Okay, I decided I wanted this embossed, and I didn't feel like actually embossing it. So I used my scoreboard, and I am scoring at 1/4 of an inch. I score all of this paper to 1/4 of an inch. I rotate it. I score it at 1/4 of an inch going the other way. And I'm basically creating a grid. I love a grid. I don't know what it is. Maybe my brain really needs order, but that just looks so good to me. I love a grid, and you know, anybody can do this with a scoreboard. All right, I brought in the stamp set from my friend Rhonda. Thanks, Rhonda. She didn't make it. She gave it to me. It's from Heidi Swap, and I love it. Okay, I am a 5 by 7 card maker, and I always have these scraps left over when I'm cutting my card bases, and I save them. And another tip I wanted to give you, if you're fussy cutting and you have scraps, I think it's more efficient, quicker, and easier to fussy cut from a small piece of paper than it is to always be stamping on like a large piece of paper and then cutting out. So that's just a little tip for you. If your stamp works, if you have scraps, I would recommend it. It makes fussy cutting faster. Okay, so I'm going to show you a few ways we're going to make some ephemera. The first one is I'm just cutting this into a square. I think it's super cute. We're going to dress it up, but I have a basic piece of ephemera now. A lot of times in a Maggie Holmes collection and her ephemera packs, you'll always see black and white stamped images like this. Well, they look stamped, they're printed. But there's no reason why we can't make them ourselves. So that piece I will embellish, but it could be done. Here's a smaller version. I liked this one when it's tucked like that. It just feels more natural and it goes with the flow of the stamped image. So I'm going to set that one to the side. Now, another idea of something that you can do is just fussy cut the top of it. If you just want that peeking out and you don't want a square, you could also round the corners on these. And we're also going to be coloring these up and embellishing these. So there's my grid, and it's not perfect, and it's okay. Some of them I didn't score perfectly. So here's this one, and I liked the way that tucked in there. And I like this piece, and I want to make it even better. So it says Wonder. And I have this foil pen, and I want to start using it more and more because I really love it. Foil quill pen. So it says Wonder, and I wanted woman. Now I know it's spelled differently, but I'm this kind of Wonder Woman. When I was a kid, I was always wandering off. Turns out my husband's the same way. We lose each other so easily if we don't stick together when we go out in public places. Oh my gosh, we're both wanderers. Anyways, I also decided I thought it would be really fun to add some foil like polka dots to these stamped images, just adding more embellishments. I've also seen this on ephemera packs. When you get in a pack of ephemera, especially from like Maggie Holmes or Jen Hadfield or one of them, study the pieces. They do a lot of like stuff on vellum, and you can recreate a lot of that. So now I'm bringing in my lunar paste, and I want to go around the edges. If you don't have lunar paste, I have an inexpensive hack for you. Just go to a craft store or Walmart and get the Apple Barrel, the cheap paints. They sell them in metallic, and they work just as well for this. And you can edge things with those, like get gold or silver or whatever you like. You don't have to have lunar paste, but if you have lunar paste or another paste, get it out and do what I'm doing here. This is just a fun way to color up this ephemera, make ephemera different and unique, and with your stamps and scraps. Another way is to add another stamp. So I have this one that I've been using so much I don't even put it away anymore. I just keep it on my desk, and it's a script. And I know Tim Holtz has some great script stamps. You can't get this one anymore, but I'm just using it, and I love the way this looks. So the possibilities are just endless. I just wanted to share a bunch with you. How about using your inks and doing blending around the edges? Maybe you don't like paint, you don't want to work with paint. I get it. So with that one, I just ink blended, and now I'm bringing in my perfect pearls. I'm just adding a little water to my stamping block. I add in some perfect pearls, mix it up, and I'm going to splatter. So I always like to cover up my perfect pearls so water doesn't get inside and it goes bad. Just a little tip. But that adds such a beautiful metallic splatter to this card, and it's done. So, you just don't have to color everything. With this one, I wanted to use up that perfect pearl, so I splattered on it. I let it dry, and now I'm just going to lightly add a tint of color and very loosely into these images. So I'm doing the pink roses, and then I'll bring in some green and do the leaves. And it looks, intentional. It looks complete to me. And it's just another fun way to make our own ephemera and make it interesting. Oh, I just think this is so cool. I love it. I love the softness of it. I love the metallic splatter. It's just fun. So I think, there you have it. There's some great ideas. Bring out your stamps, bring out your scraps, and whatever supplies you have, and you can have some fun making pieces just like this. If you don't have the foil quill, you can also use dots of glue, put your foil on top, and then it'll dry there, and you can have some polka dots just like that. So I am going to show you all of my cards now. So the front of the Sheetload that card example there is always true to size. I think that is so handy. These were my scraps, and here are my cards. So I made 8 mini slimlines from the Sheetload. That's how many it makes this month. You can always make just one. The measurements are on the front of the Sheetload for that. I'd encourage you to guys, while you're over getting your free Sheetload from Call Me Crafty Owl, check out her channel membership. It is so worth it, you guys. She gives free printables and lots of awesome content, and you can join for as low as $1.99 a month. Plus, you can get access to all of the sheet loads. Totally worth it. So here, I just really love these. I think they're so fun. Those sentiments that I used were actually printables from Pink Monarch Prints. And I just keep them on my desk and really, really love them. Now here are my 5x7s. So I'm essentially using the same layout. It is essentially the same sheet load. It's just a different size. And I encourage you to play with that as well when Call Me Crafty Owl releases a sheet load. If you're not into mini slimlines, turn it into a A2 or a 5x7. Play around with it. The idea is as useful in any card size. The format works. So I just would encourage you to play around with that. I hope you enjoyed this. I certainly had a blast making these cards, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.